Welcome to AfriFreedom Channel, where we speak truth to power and amplify the voices of the oppressed across Africa. If you haven't already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more critical updates that matter to the continent's future. Disclaimer. The following report is based on publicly available information from credible sources and aims to inform. What is unfolding in Kenya today is a loud cry from a silenced people. Across the streets of Nairobi and beyond, the Kenyan people are saying loud and clear, Ruto must go. He has failed the country. Rising inflation, unemployment, police brutality, and a deafening silence in the face of civilian suffering have pushed citizens to the edge. William Ruto, once elected with hope, is now increasingly being referred to as a vicious dictator, one who seems to serve foreign interests more than his own people. How did we get here? When a leader loses touch with the pain of his citizens, how long before the people push back? And if your own people are no longer your priority, whose agenda are you truly serving? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we need to hear your voice. One of the clearest signs of authoritarianism is the restriction of press freedom. Thankfully, the High Court of Kenya has lifted the ban on media reporting during the protests. This is
jobless. We are jobless, man. We are here demonstrating for what? For we lack of jobs. We don't have enough income in our, everything else in our thing.
Patrick, thank you. He's very emotional, he says, but you see the disappointment and disillusionment among these young people that they risk coming out here on the streets, even though sometimes police shoot at unarmed protesters. That's why we wear this. We wear the flak jacket, because we have seen Kenyan security forces shooting unarmed, peaceful protesters, and sometimes they die, like we saw last year outside the Kenyan parliament. That's why they were back on the street today to mark that anniversary. Dozens of people were killed by security forces during the protest last year, and there's been no accountability.
So, Larry, how are government officials responding to this now, and how concerned are they that things could once again escalate and get out of hand?
The government has a habit of branding these protests as violent, that their agitators have taken them over and goons have taken them over. Yes, we have seen some looting, but these protesters say those people looting shops are not part of them. Sometimes, and some local media have reported that politicians have hired goons to infiltrate the protests and smash property and trash things to give a bad narrative to all the protesters. The government largely dismisses these grievances from the young people, and that's part of the frustration, that even though they keep complaining about police brutality, about unemployment, about corruption, that the government of President William Ruto is simply not paying attention to them, and that's the anger we see reflected on the streets again.
All right, Larry Madoa reporting for us live. Thank you so much.
It is a crucial win for democracy. Because when a government attempts to suppress the truth, it is often because they have something to hide. Why would a president want to hide the actions of his security forces from the world? Why fear transparency unless you are planning something the people would never accept? Join the...
What would be the reason why the government is actually doing this? And also talk about what has been happening in town.
I think there's just one reason. I think the scriptures say in John 3:20 that evil lurks in darkness. There's a reason why William Ruto wants this blackout. And Kenyans are following everything that's happening across the country. People have come out in every corner of Kenya to reject this system, to reject the injustices. But when you look at what he's trying to do, you can only conclude two things. I think William Ruto wants to, I suspect, to unleash the military on the citizens. As we speak, we are aware that the military is positioned at Nyayo Stadium. And I think a time is coming probably when we have this blackout, when he can unleash the military. He's still using the same order of last year that still gives him the powers to deploy. The second thing, we know that he has mobilized goons, probably with the coverage that everything is being given.
Conversation, do you think the media blackout was about public safety or state secrecy? CNN's Larry Madowo posed a question that haunts every African journalist today: why do we wear bulletproof vests to cover peaceful protests in Kenya? It's because the very people meant to protect lives, our police, are reportedly shooting at unarmed civilians. That's not law enforcement. That's systemic violence. How did peaceful protests become a battleground in a democratic state? What happens when the protectors of the people turn their weapons on them? Let us know your opinion in the comments. How can this be happening in 2025? Former Defense Minister Eugene Wamalwa has warned that President Ruto may be planning to unleash the military on his own people. According to him, the strategic positioning of armed forces at Nyayo Stadium is not coincidental. It's calculated. This kind of escalation is dangerous, illegal, and deeply concerning. Should any civilian government in a democracy prepare military force against unarmed citizens? Are we witnessing the slow death of Kenyan democracy? Speak your truth in the comments. The world must not look away. Kenya is at a crossroads. This is not just about taxes or protests. It's about the soul of a nation. Will Kenya choose fear or freedom? Silence or truth? Repression or reform? The world is watching, and so are the sons and daughters of Africa. If you believe in a free Africa, stand with Kenya. Share this video. Let the world know what's happening. The struggle for freedom must never be fought in silence. Stay informed, stay courageous, and remember, no empire is stronger than a people awakened.